Welcome to TV Africa News. Thank you so much for joining us and always being part of us. This is Africa Today. My name is Nahaba Gajura, but first, other headlines. Ugandan police arrest 25 over cost of living protest. Kasita, Uganda asked the central bank to reduce interest on loans. Ivory Coast urges Mali to free its detained soldiers. In our sports news today, media houses bypass gender stereotypes to cover ongoing women's AFCON. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. We'll start with one of our top stories. Police in Uganda have arrested 25 people following Monday's demonstrations against high prices of food and fuel. Many of those who took part in the protests in the eastern district of Jinja, about 80 kilometers from the capital Kampala, were motorcycle taxi riders, commonly referred to as border borders. We have the report.
They demanded that the government intervenes to subsidize the price of essential commodities. Chira Region Police spokesperson James Mubi said they had information that the protests were organized by politicians who would be summoned for questioning. The protesters blocked a major highway with logs and tires, but the police moved to quickly disperse them. The price of fuel has almost doubled in recent months from 3,900 Ugandan shillings to 7,500 Ugandan shillings in some parts of the country. President Yoweri Museveni in June rolled out cutting taxes and subsidies during a State of the Nation address, warning that it would deplete the country's foreign reserves. Uganda, like other countries on the continent, is experiencing a sharp rise in the cost of fuel and essential commodities, largely being blamed on the Russia-Ukraine war.
Moving on in our top stories, Kampala City Traders Association, Uganda Kasita, has expressed concern over the current financial and economic status in the business community across the country. Acting chairman of Kasita, Musoke Nagenda, asserts that most people are losing their property due to failure to pay off their loans. Take a look at the story.
While addressing journalists at their offices on Tuesday, Kampala City Traders Association acting chairman Thaddeus Musoke Nagenda said that in most cases, loans are secured to sustain and maintain a business. However, considering the current economic situation, loans have become bottlenecks to people in the business community, leaving most of them totally bankrupt and out of business.
Mbera we yasajjuse abasuubuzi baffe obwavu tususseeko tuli mu bulamu amabanja gafuuse amabanja.
Musoke has also expressed grief over another tax burden which has continuously been imposed on the already limping business, which has ultimately forced many to close down and rendered unemployed. He requested banks to reduce interests on loans that were taken by the traders.
Kasita tusabye banks kusooka ddala zibeere flexible. Omuntu ono nga bwe yajja okuwagira kubanga bizinensi ya banka kuwola tugonzeemuko ku makulizo. Abasuubuzi bano abamu tubamanyi basobole okubeera nga basobola okusasula tutaase maali.
Musoke has now recommended that the special fund for traders, which the president pledged to favor and boost businesses, be widened and handed to traders associations for management, since the associations best understand the private sector members' needs.
Era mu bimu bye tusabye bwe twasisinkana pulezidenti yeeyama okuyamba abasuubuzi abeegatta mu kibiina Kasiita kuteekawo ensawo ey'enjawulo abaagala okutunda ebintu ebikolebwa wano nga tubitunda mawanga ag'omukago gwa East Africa ate era ne mu Africa. Naye twasabye nti ensawo egazibwemu esobole n'okuyambako bano abantu ebintu byabwe ebitwalibwa.
According to the Uganda Bureau of Statistics, the country's annual headline inflation hit 6.3% in May 2022, above the 5% upper limit of the Bank of Uganda monetary policy target, driven by food, transport and personal care.
Away from that, the Uganda People Congress Party has called upon government to put much resources in agriculture, saying if not, hunger is likely to spread throughout the country. Now, the warning was made by the party head of media and communication, Mzee Faizo, at their headquarters in Kampala. Ahomoza has more.
While addressing the media in Kampala, Mzee Faizo, the head of media and communication at UPC, said the looming hunger experienced in the country is very unfortunate, thus calling for an urgent intervention by the government and other humanitarian agencies to come and rescue people with food. Reports indicate that hunger has most been registered in the regions of northeastern and Karamoja, extending to Teso, Acholi, Lango and West Nile sub-regions and other parts of the country, leaving people and animals stuck without what to eat. According to Mzee Faizo, the problem has been accelerated by climate changes brought about by deforestation and encroachment on wetlands. Basing on this, he advised the government to effectively address the issue of climate change with the utmost attention by leading by example to encourage people plant more trees, preserving water bodies, wetlands, soils and forests. UPC further called upon government to put enough resources in agriculture, modernize farming using appropriate science and technology, saying this will increase agricultural production and hence curb the hunger problem. In the same briefing, UPC revealed that 8 members have been voted for Yala Member of Parliament, and these awaits the primaries, where a single individual will be derived as a party flag bearer.
Now, Africa Today takes a quick break. We shall come back with the international news. Welcome back from the break. You're still watching TV Africa, the bright to know. In international news, in DRC, UN says 20 people have been killed and dozens more abducted in multiple attacks in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. Now, the dead included children and at least 4 patients who were burnt alive at a church clinic in North Kivu province. Take a look at the story.
The attack is blamed on fighters from the Islamic State-affiliated group Allied Democratic Forces. It is known as the deadliest armed group operating in the country and has been designated as a terrorist outfit by the US. Witnesses say intense fighting is still ongoing in the volatile North Kivu province, where the Congolese army and UN peacekeepers are engaging fighters from the group. The rebel attacks began last Thursday when the armed group attacked a local clinic in Num town, where they killed several people, including the 4 patients who were burnt alive in the health facility. The UN mission in DR Congo says hundreds of houses in nearby villages have also been razed down. Dozens of people, including at least 30 children, are reported missing and are believed to have been abducted by the group. Minor-rich DR Congo has witnessed a recent resurgence in conflict involving several armed groups, including the M23 movement and the ADF.
Away from that, the authorities in South Sudan say more than 230 people have been killed over the last 2 weeks in ethnic clashes in the south of the country. Now, the fighting over cattle and grazing fields occurred in eastern Equatorial State from early this month.
The killings happened in Capoeira North County, where rival communities clashed following cattle raids in one of the villages. Those killed included a local chief who was shot as mourners gathered to bury those who died in the violence. The governor of the state has condemned the killings and asked the government to urgently send security forces to the area to restore calm. It came as South Sudan marked 11 years of independence. The UN has warned that the country risks a return to civil war due to the intercommunal fighting that has displaced millions of people.
Now, Ivory Coast has accused Mali of unjustly detaining 49 of its soldiers and has called for them to be released. Now, Mali's military government seized the men at Bamako airport on Sunday, calling them mercenaries.
But the Ivorian authorities say none were carrying weapons and that they went to Mali to join UN peacekeeping operations there. Ivory Coast's National Security Council said it had held an extraordinary meeting under the chairmanship of President Alassane Ouattara over the detained soldiers. In a statement, it called for calm and restraint among the population and assured that all measures are being taken to obtain the rapid release of our brave and valiant soldiers. The UN itself says that soldiers are one of several national units deployed to back up troop contingents. The junta in Mali, which is trying to put down an Islamist insurgency, says its foreign ministry was not informed by official channels.
Now, thank you so much, reporter Ndagire. Moving on, in our international news, the man who planned one of the bloodiest single episodes of the Rwanda genocide has been found guilty of complicity by a French court and sentenced to 20 years in prison. Laurent is the highest-ranking Rwandan to have faced trial in France over the 1994 massacres, in which an estimated 800,000 Tutsis and moderate Hutus died. As governor of the southern Chikongoro province, Laurent encouraged tens of thousands of Tutsis to take refuge in the Murambi Technical School. Days later, they were slaughtered, helped convict him. Africa Today takes a quick break. We shall come back with business, health, and sports. Welcome back for the break. You're still watching TV Africa, the right to know. Talking matters business, Kitgum municipality authorities have confirmed that Kitgum Central Market is set to be commissioned at the end of this month. Now, the market is being constructed under the second phase of the Market and Agriculture Trade Improvement Program with funding from the African Development Bank.
While the completion status stands at 99%, authorities say the remaining work include landscaping and clearing the site. Mr. Ayub Chisubi, the Chitugumu Municipal Town Clerk, said they have asked the Ministry of Local Government to send a technical team to help in verification. Mr. Chisubi said that as per the last meeting that they had last week, the facility is in the final stages and the contractor promised that by the end of this month it will be done. He added that about the allocation of stalls, it is a process which they will do in conjunction with the Ministry of Local Government. The modern market, which will host more than 1,000 vendors, has two blocks, A and B. It will have lockups, stalls, banking institutions, a beauty care center, parking spaces, storage facilities, and open spaces. Mr. William Komakech, the District Resident Commissioner, said the municipal authorities have set up a committee to ensure proper allocation of the stalls.
In Africa Today Health, Atuta Hospital in Kumi District is handling patients under a tree because of limited facilities. Now, Dr. Sarah Asio, a doctor at the facility, told TV Africa that the clinic they are running handles 700 persons with sickle cell disease and another 400 with diabetes. Take a look at the story.
Though the conditions were not favorable, I was touched by the suffering of the patients. The clinic started in 2015. Even the health workers at that time didn't know about these conditions and they would neglect the patients, so I decided to take the lead, she said. Dr. Charles Oyo, the Commissioner for Non-Communicable Diseases NCDs at the Ministry of Health, when asked whether many hospitals are having such experiences, said there is limited funding for NCDs. Lack of space is a reality in hospitals, but it also depends on the patient's volume and how you schedule the clinic. Sometimes we advise that you schedule a clinic on a day that is not busy so that you operate under a roof, he said.
In our sports news today, women's soccer is experiencing a arrival of interest on the continent with the African Women's Cup of Nations organized in Morocco from July 2nd to 23rd. Now, the competition is being broadcast in more than 60 countries, but with few adverts compared to the men's competition.
In her statement, Mo Sanduo, the former player and sports consultant, said that the more they advance into the competition, things will be much clearer, especially if Morocco will advance and continue to win. Regarding media coverage, she said that they could do much more in terms of billboards in the cities of the kingdom so that people see that the women's CAA is being staged there. She further revealed that they are determined to do better, much as it is still the beginning of the tournament. Radio Mars, the first sports radio in Morocco, has taken a noble initiative to cover the tournament. It offers programs dedicated to women's soccer, broadcasting all matches live. They also do analysis that in turn gives women's sports the highlight it deserves. El Medicaso, a consultant specialist in women's soccer, said the African Women's Cup of Nations competition has allowed spectators and those interested in women's soccer to discover the players and their qualities on the field.
It is at this particular time that I thank you for being with us and always joining us. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We shall keep updating you. It is TV Africa, the right to know.